Hi, everybody! Welcome in, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Grendel Wolf's Lair, welcome in. Gold Public, hello, hello. Darling Creep Show, thank you so much for the sub. Welcome in. Welcome to the Troll Lord family. You too have been brought into the folds and been made a troll, so welcome to your new existence here. Sweeper AZ, welcome in. Tabletop Test Drive, I see you. From Thunderforge Studios. How is Thunderforge Studios these days? I want to come visit. Biggie Paul, welcome in. So good to see you. Hi everyone, my name is Crane Wrights. I've never been here before, but now I'm here, and we're gonna be doing some things, so I'm very excited. This is Blub. This is my buddy Blub. He's the dignified one. I'm the bizarro one. Calm and happy, glad the notification sound has been turned off. Hey, Skull, welcome in. Hello, hello, my friend. How are you doing today? I don't know if I've heard the previous notification sound, but where is Boy? Oh, wait, okay. I only have an artistic rendition of Boy at the moment. All of you, I'm so sorry to deprive you of my wonderful little puppy. Trouble is his name. He's a mini golden doodle. He's the best boy in the whole wide world, and he's not here. I'm gonna be going out of state with some of my family tomorrow, so I had to board him, and I miss him already. Kai Brightwing, welcome in. Hello, hello. The notifications are loud as fuck. Am I allowed to say fuck? I didn't ask. Is swearing allowed? Can I say the fuck word? That's good to know. That's not bizarre. I have an urban mech plushie behind me. See, all right. So I found my people, clearly. You just did twice. Well, shit. I mean, darn. Yes, you say whatever you... Okay, perfect, perfect. Wonderful, thank you. I believe it is okay. Tim can attest to the beautiful, beautiful. Well, so I'm so happy to be here and to be like getting to know you all. I've been hanging out in Discord and kind of like seeing what everyone talks about, and I thought Trouble was his middle name. Oh, his full name is Trouble. That's how you know. That's how you know there's some stuff going on. Material Squirrel. I like your username. Welcome in. Howdy, partner. What we're going to be doing today is reading some fiction from A Houseless God. Some of you might have already read this stuff. It's really, really lovely. Oh, you know what? Steve just sent me another image for this image slideshow here. Maybe I'll add that at intermission. But we have two stories. One is from A Houseless God, and the other one, if you have a bleep button, that would be... You know what? I'm mad that I didn't think of that first. That's a pretty good idea. All trouble all the time. Oh yes, absolutely. This is the emote for the boy, our little man. Just full brat mode all the time. It's a good time. But yeah, we're going to be reading from A Houseless God. I'm super excited. Huge thanks to Troll Lord Games for having me. I've done... Well, I guess I'll just say a little bit here. I'm a poet. I have a book of poetry out in the world called Quiet Kid. And so I'm familiar with readings, but I've never really done like a regular weekly reading type thing here on Twitch before. And so I'm super excited to be here. And speaking of, actually, I believe, Tim, if you're in here, we have a raffle going on at the moment. We're going to be giving away 2 full books. 2 free books. Books that are free. They can be yours. All you have to do is enter the raffle. You're losing money not doing it. So let's get it going. Let's do it. I think we're auctioning off, or well, auctioning is the wrong word. We're raffling off. I think it's my book first, and then at the sort of break between stories here, we're going to be doing one from like Airdian either fiction or one of the resource books. I'm actually not sure which book it is, so it's a surprise even to me. So all you gotta do is follow and then type !raffle and you'll be entered in. Unless you just don't want free awesome books, and in which case, you know, live your life, but... Hey, Sparky, welcome in! And Dark Light, welcome in. Obsidian Risk Scott, hello, welcome in. Beautiful. And we'll give it a second for the raffle stuff to get filled up here. Also, on TikTok here, I'm live in 2 places at the moment. All y'all that are on TikTok, come on over to Troll Games on Twitch, twitch.tv/TrollLordGames, and hop on in to the chat and do !raffle. And it'll be a really good time, and it would be an even better time with you there, so come and hang. Sorry, that was a private conversation. And if you don't want the book, just go the fuck away. What do we even need with people who don't want free books? Come on. Come on now. What if I can't read? I don't need to pay attention to the rules because I can't read. I have water here to stay hydrated. I have a voice that notoriously just decides that it's done at random after talking, so gotta make sure to keep things hydrated. See, Dark Light knows what's up. You can look at the pretty pictures. There you go. I'm the guy whose player's handbook is always upside down when he references it. Remember that? Oh, perfect. Perfect. You know what? Is there a better way to be? It's just creative. It's creative interpretation of the structure of the text, man. When you talk to the TikTok live, you should put on a fake mustache so we don't get confused and poop ourselves. Well, we don't want... No, hold on. We don't want any self-poopage here in this chat. Wait, hang on. Do I have a pen? Of course I have a pen. Hang on. Oh, it's like not dark enough. Well, it's a mustache. I drew a mustache, so... Hey, all of you in TikTok, come on over to twitch.tv/TrollLordGames. We're doing a live reading of fiction, and it's a really good time. That's where the party is. Hey, Shaded Mischief, hello, welcome in. So good to see you here. You can borrow my master. Thank you, thank you. If you do something well, never do it for free. Such as having a mustache. The character artwork is amazing. I completely agree. Hang on. I have the name of the artist here. Let me pull it up. Ooh, okay. I also have new art actually to add in, so I'm just gonna do that really quickly, and then I don't want to keep us waiting too long, so we'll get into the stories here. We're gonna add another thing, but also I want to find the name of the artist so that we can give them the credit that they're due. Okay. Ooh, where's the name? Zoe DeVos. The artist's name is Zoe DeVos, and they are clearly an absolute badass. All right, so I think what we want to do first here, while this raffle is going on, maybe we will announce the winner after this story and then start the next raffle, if that's cool. But first, we have this prologue that was written by Steve and is very exciting, and I really enjoyed reading it. And any of you that are familiar with the tales of Yurik and Ava, this is basically a prologue introducing Ava. And I love this character already, and I know that you will too. So, settle in, grab a drink, and enjoy. She followed his tracks easily enough. For days they blundered through the woods, meandering listlessly, seemingly without purpose or direction of any design she could discern. Lost, she thought to herself. He must have succeeded in retrieving the sapling, for the orcs followed him with reckless abandon, but there was no purpose to his movement. His steps were heavy, though when he rested, she found little food scraps, so he wore armor, chain, something heavier probably. He drank much, too, for his weight sank in the loamy earth and remained overlong. This by several streams and a pool of brackish water. Death hounded him, and the sapling too. He ate little, carried nothing but weapons, drank overmuch, wandered recklessly in the darkened fold. Looking up, the canopy of the dark wood hung over her like a comforting blanket. Little spears of light lanced the foliage, but the trees drank much of the sun's nourishment before it reached the forest floor, so that there, the light was pale and sickly, and seemed to waver. The folds of shadows were like walls to her, the canopy a roof, and she took strength from it, thrived in it. Her home for many years, few, if any, knew its pulse as she did. She loved it, and the forest, in turn, was a little less indifferent. Well, nameless knight, I promised Cornelius I would seek you out and give you aid, or, failing that, the sapling you must surely carry. The warm day of early spring lay locked above the forest roof, and the paths of the darkened fold unfolded cool before her as she moved along the trail, beaten to ruin by shoddy orc boots. Their passage proved such that the normal roughage of forest bramble and bush stood back from her, failing to grab a hold of the green cloak, pants, or bow. Even so, the journey proved difficult. The broken ground, torn by small furrows of root trail, and by taller, older roots, weathered free of soil, slowed her passage. Ava left little track or trail sign as she passed. Her light step and easy gait made sure of that. Some few hours further down, ever deeper into the trackless wastes of that ancient wood, she realized that the orcs were overtaking the night. They would do so soon if she did not intervene. Redoubling her steps, she moved ever quicker. She knew this country, and guessed rightly that the night's meanderings would lead him to Girthup Falls and the fortress there. The following orcs would most likely catch him near that haunted place. Moving off the trail, she cut south through the woods. She moved as a fox now, or deer, seeing the trail before her where no trail lay. She passed without a trace, weaving in and out brush and under limb and bow for many miles, until she came to a broad stream that tumbled down from the north and west. Her speed put her ahead of the orcs, this she knew, and hopefully ahead of the night. Angling back up the stream, the way it came, she hoped to meet him and bring him to a safe place, allowing the orcs to blunder on in their own folly. The stream, shallow now, but occasionally broad enough to carve out flat ground on either bank, offered her an easy enough road so that she passed on up its course at a high rate of speed. She came out on what was likely to be their path some half an hour later. The sun began to dip, and the darkened shadows, barely relieved by the light of day, darkened further. In the pale light of the setting sun, she saw first the knight's heavy boot print in the mud, not more than an hour old. Water still stood in it, pushed up from the ground beneath his heel, but not fully soaked back in. Then she saw the tiny petals of goldenrod flowers clinging atop their long stalks. They stood in a small meadow, no more than a few dozen feet from one end to the other. The sun touched their tiny yellow petals with gentle rays of warm light. A sadness came over her, like a warm wind on a cool day. Those flowers held for her a magic few others could understand, the spirits of those she loved. Excuse me. The orc almost caught her unawares. It issued from the darkening path with an expression of indolent ignorance, wholly focused on the trail in front of it. The beastly creature, darkness and evil, fashioned when the All-Father's mind fell, shattered by the power of Ondluk, the goblin sorcerer, in the long-ago days of the goblin-dwarf wars. The creature stopped, its mind wholly on the thought of man-flesh, wrapped in chain and iron-shod boots, failed to register fully the long green cloak, wild red hair, decorated with braids and silver clips, the leather, fur-lined belt, and the bow. Blood rushed through her veins, and thoughts of her sister and the flowers she held so dear vanished. The scar on her left cheek showed white as she pulled the bow, aimed, and loosed it in one fluid movement. The orc's thoughts fell to oblivion, and his soul passed from Aihrde to the Rimfelt, that road to the wretched plains and the realms of the evil dead long before his mind registered what he saw on the trail before him. More spilled out of the trail behind him, a dozen and more. They bore heavier armor, thick boiled leathers, sewn with rings or small squares of steel. Helms and shields of wood and iron coupled with axes, cleavers, spiked clubs, and thick-bladed curved daggers rounded out their war gear. They howled in rage as their tracker fell upon the forest path, leaping over his body with murder and vengeance on their minds. No need to track now, for their prey stood before them. Little matter that this wild-haired woman seemed different than the iron-clad warrior. One was as good as the other in cooking pots and roasting spits. Knowing a dozen orcs on an open path posed a threat, she turned back to the creek bed. She regretted the lost arrow, though perhaps circling back would yield its fortune to her quiver once more. She chose to continue following the creek bed north and west, away from the river, for she surmised that if the knight, once he came to the river, were to follow it, he would follow it south of the falls, where she could easily find him. For north of the falls were Girthup and probably death. The earth yielded to her light step only a little as she sprinted up the creek. For their part, the orcs howled in joy and rage and turned to pursue. Some followed the path down to the creek and veered up it. Others turned and plunged into the wood, angling toward the direction she ran. They trusted their instincts under the darkened fold's thick canopy as much as they did underground. In a matter of seconds, she covered several hundred feet of ground and realized the orcs could not keep up. Heavy gear, thick, short legs, and generally clumsy on broken paths, these beastly creatures were already struggling. The orcs stood a vicious foe on the field of battle. As tall as a man, accoutred in armor and well-served with sword, axe, and spear, they fought well. Their mottled, dark green skin matched the patchy nature of the forest and most dark places, but their tusks, grown from a lower and upper jaw that they adorned with gold and silver, tattoos and other carvings, stood out. The metal particularly caught light of varying degrees. The tusks were things of pride to the orc, often grown to just a hair's breadth from the eye and the lower jaw, and the upper, down and past the chin. She paused, allowing several to see her. They called out in their strange language, half their own, a little vulgate with a mangling of Enochian woven throughout. She picked up little, but what little she did not care for. A slight frown crossed her face, and then a smile. Drawing her bow, no arrow knocked. She threatened to shoot, and the orcs stumbled and jumped to the left and right. Turning, she moved on up the creek bed, releasing the tension on the well-oiled gut string she had made herself several weeks ago. The orcs pursued her, crashing through the wood in a broad, open, wedge-shaped line, calling to one another. She led them on this way, well past dusk into the dark hours of the early evening. Accustomed to the forest, the trail, even in the dark, proved easy enough to travel, even when she lingered so the orcs could spy on her. For several hours and a half-dozen miles into the wood, she kept this up. The creek bed lay some miles in the past, and the forest opened somewhat. Deep in the uplands between Heth's Perch and the Westerling, this country saw little traffic by men or elves. The Fae owned this wilderness, and though she counted few enemies among those feckless creatures, she knew they could be deadly dangerous in play. All these thoughts tumbled through her mind as she came to a broad clearing, several 100 feet wide. Moon-draped, the silvery tinted grass stood a foot or more deep. It stood still on this windless night. Stepping into the glade, she stood forth, proud and strong. Her head was held high, the tangles of her red hair caught in the light of the moon. She spoke so that all could hear. It was in the beginning that Wenifar made the birds, and cast them into the winds so that all the world was pleased. And for this, she is accounted the greatest of the Val Ericune. She began crossing the meadow, having no idea if her compliments to the god would appease the Fae, or indeed if any Fae called this clearing home. Then, under her breath, she spoke again. May your horned velvet never fail you. Crossing the clearing without mishap, she paused on the far side, turning to see the first of the orcs lumber into the open moonlight, with calls of mad, glee-filled rage at the sight of their prey. But she saw, too, a spider's web of silk, spun by no spider, flung across the glade, and she knew that either she, or the orcs, or the moon's light, woke the creatures that lingered in the shadows. And, once roused, their games were as often deadly as not. She fled into the darker wood. Silence followed her. For a short while, she moved up into the tree line. Confident that the orcs no longer pursued her, dead or lost she could not say, she turned her path back to the south. The night and the sapling filled her mind. But before she caught up with him, or his body, she would return to those yellow flowers and the memory of a sister long lost to her in the world at large. Somewhere, a startled crow cawed, and she thought she discerned some words in its croaking speech, but only those who followed Heth could speak that strange bird's language, and, so it is said, those about to die. So that's our prologue. That's our introduction to Ava. Anyone who's read, I think the self-titled story in the collected stories of a houseless god, the houseless god story itself, if I'm not mistaken, that's where Ava meets Yurik, and these are the events leading up to that. Hey, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. You wrote such lovely fiction, so I'm happy to be reading it. Squishmallows, yes, this is Blub. He keeps me sane. And Nikki, welcome in. It's so good to see you. Tad, welcome in. Everyone that I missed while I was reading. Piper Dog, welcome in. Senecan, welcome in. Xander, it's so good to see you. May Stretch, hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. Congrats, it was nice meeting you, Gary Con. Oh man, wait a minute, who were you? Either way, it's so lovely to see you. And I'm sure it was lovely to meet you too. I'm not sure I recognize your username. Crane is an NPC storyteller in my TLG games now. It would be my pleasure and honor. Rich, we met at the bar. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, it was so lovely to meet you. Thank you so much for being here. That's such a nice time. Very good read. Looking forward to watching / listening to this on the regular. Well, you're in luck, my friend, because we'll be here every Thursday. They've welcomed me into the troll's den, and now they can't get rid of me. So, but thank you so much, sincerely. That means a lot to me. So I appreciate you being here. Zump. Hello, hello. I need you to narrate. You know what? That'd be a better use of my life, most likely, than what I'm currently doing. I was the drunken sod that gave you my adventure synopsis to Steve at the Puppet Carry. I see, with the velvet chairs in the sex dungeon, if I recall that conversation correctly. It's so lovely to see you again. I have to know, where did you get that top? It's amazing. Luna, thank you. This is actually... Hang on. It's pants. It's a romper. We're tactical in this house. But thank you. I actually got it at... This is going to sound like the most pretentious thing ever. I'm so sorry in advance. I got it at like a local shop in Greece. So, yeah. It's a place. It's a place with stuff. That was Steve's idea. Of course. Sure. Thank you all for listening to that prologue. I'm excited to read the second story here, but before we can do that, we have business to take care of. We have had a raffle going. Just last call for anyone who wants to join the raffle. ! Raffle. And it'll get you a free book. Maybe. Maybe it won't. But hey, free books. Ooh, a winner is being picked. Hey, McKee! Good job! Congratulations! If I had a congratulations button, I would press it, but alas, I do not. Congratulations, McKee! Thank you so much for entering the raffle, and I hope that you like the book. Is that rich? It is indeed. Awesome. And then I think we'll go ahead and get into the second story here. But before we can do that, if you didn't, if your name is not Rich, and you're like, hey, I want to win stuff. Good news, you still can. We have a second raffle. And I'm not actually sure which book is being raffled, but I'm sure it's going to be even better. Also, thank you so much for everyone that has like come in and is following and like supporting the channel. This is a really great channel that clearly writes amazing fiction and runs incredible games and designs incredible games. So if you're not in the loop, it's not too late to get in the loop. There's plenty of room in this loop for more, so join us in the loop. It's cozy, it's good. I love free books. I'm not a book hoarder. I don't have a problem. There's not books on literally every surface of my home. Hey, and Nikki, thank you so much for the sub. Welcome to the Troll Den, my friend. It'll be Codex of Aihrde, A Houseless God, and A Mirrored Soul. Would you listen to that? Okay, so wait, hang on. When I tell you the Codex of Aihrde consumed my whole life for like several weeks. This is an amazing book of lore. It lays out the entire history of Aihrde in this like beautiful, like mythological sort of way. So if you don't have these books, I promise you want them. And then A Houseless God and The Mirrored Soul are books that we are going to be reading from over the course of these next few weeks here, every Thursday. Which, if you like this, next week, same time, same place, If it's an ebook, I definitely gotcha. Yeah, I don't know in which way they are raffling it, but I have the ebook version, and I can confirm it's very convenient. Also, my camera got all like fuzzy because there's light shining in directly on my camera, but that'll pass in a minute, I promise. We'll do both. Ooh, you heard it here first. I ate too much too fast, now my tummy hurts. Alas, that is simply the price that we must pay for delicious food. Do y'all have a favorite food? I hear that we discuss cooking on this channel sometimes. Thought the light was deliberate to make it more ethereal. I mean, yeah, I did this on purpose. I think things ahead. And hey, everyone that's over on TikTok, what are you doing on TikTok? You silly geese, coming over to twitch.tv/TrollLordGames. That's where the real party is. And man, oh man, is it a party. We got free books, we got music, we got fiction. Come on over. Sorry, private conversation. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. That didn't happen. Don't worry about it. That's me. Steve hates eating. Hates eating? I'm sorry. Wait. I'm pretty sure that's a problem. If What scent is that candle behind you? Oh, I'm glad that you asked. This is the Poet. It's called the Poet. Ooh. It's a little bit hot to hold. Orange, basil, and amber. It's wonderful. And I just put it out by picking it up and moving the wax around. That's where I came over from. Hey, Xander, welcome! Our first convert. Someone on TikTok said, technically it's not a problem if he still eats. Yeah, if you just hate it but do it anyway. There you go. We discussed cooking, Dr. Pepper, hamburgers, aliens, and how things take 1,000 years. Those could all be the same conversation. Cooking, movies, 70s to 80s music, aliens, and Sam Squanches. I'm sorry. Hang on. Sam Squanches? I may require an explanation. Maybe a show with just poetry? Maybe. If I can do a little self-promo, I've got a Twitch channel too. It's twitch.tv/CraneWrites. And if you want to hear some poetry, sometimes we do readings over there. And maybe if my fellow trolls will allow, we'll do some here too at some point. Maybe. We'll see. We also make a game of derailing Steve. That is a game that I can get behind. Trailer Park Boys. You know what? I've never seen an episode of Trailer Park Boys. Is that a crime? I feel like that might be a crime. I think we need a Troll Den watch party of Trailer Park Boys. Sam Squanches is from Trailer Park Boys. CJ, welcome in. Hello, my friend. How are you doing today? It is blasphemy. Yeah, I know. Here's the thing. I'm the least cultured human alive, most likely. I haven't seen anything. Like, if anyone's like, if the sentence begins with "Have you seen?" the answer is usually no. This is a crime with the trolls. It's a crime in Canada. So it's a extra spicy crime for the Canadian trolls. I see. How do we feel about Letterkenny? Do we like Letterkenny in the Troll Den? What is the happen? CJ, we've just finished our first story and we're going to be embarking on our second as soon as we get the second raffle started here. You fucking love Letterkenny? Well, there's your problem there, bud. To be fair. Have not seen Letterkenny yet. Ha! I've got one on you. Let me have this one win. I'm gonna see it live next week in Chicago. Amazing. That sounds awesome. Exclamation point waffles. Is there an exclamation point waffles command? If not, there should be. Come to our Discord server, hang out and enjoy free Dr. Pepper. Not really, excuse me. You're gonna play with our heart like this? Unbelievable. Actually, to be fair, that's another thing. I don't really like soda. Hey, Soul Direwolf on TikTok. Welcome in. I'm so glad that you came over. So good to have you here. All right, exclamation point raffle to get a whole bunch of awesome resource books and fiction and just lovely stuff from Prologue Games. It's a good old time. If you liked one book, now introducing 3 books. And hey, all 8 of you. What's the Twitch channel again? It's Prologue Games. It's the name of this live. Come on over. It's already such a good time, but it's gonna be even better with you here. So twitch.tv/Prologue Games. It's a good time. The real prize is listening to the stream. Don't be nice to me. What are you doing? Excuse me. I'm glad that y'all are here. Thanks for coming in and hanging out. I haven't really done something like this before. I've had some reading streams on my channel just sporadically, but not a regular reading series like this. So if y'all want to come back next week, I will not cry myself to sleep. And it'll be really a good time. Nikki, why do you do this to me? Why do you say the nice things and make me die on the inside? Sova, when did you get here? Thank you for the bits, my friend. Tarot TikTok done sent me. Welcome in from TikTok, Tarot. You've landed at the coolest place on the internet to be right now. In spite of me. We got Blub. We got our boy Blub. We got fiction. We got Prologue Games. We got a raffle. Right now, hit exclamation point raffle and you can get some more free books. It'll be a good time. Canadian ancient game. Oh no. Oh no, guys. I might be held accountable for my lack of Canadian knowledge and respect. TikTok seems to be a fun platform. I don't know, Tabletop Santa. Would you know anything about TikTok? You are certainly the TikTok guy. Which, if you guys don't follow Tabletop Test Drive, that should change because his content is awesome and awesome stuff in the works. It's a good time. It's been nothing. You're pretty dang cool. Well, you're sweet. Thank you. When anyone is nice to me, my voice just devolves into a weird alien that has sort of had human language and culture explained to them, but doesn't really quite get it, but still tries. That's the person I become when someone is nice to me exactly one time. That's all it takes. We just devolve. Alien, you say? Hark, it's the call to Roswell. Let's go! Quick, everyone be nice. No, wait! Stop! Xander, you're cool. And, Tim, whenever you feel like the raffle has reached its conclusion, just say the word and let me know. And we can get started here on the second story, which I'm very excited about. This story that we're going to read next, it reads exactly like a D&D adventure, or a Castles and Crusades adventure. And it's really cool. I think you guys are going to like it. A winner is being picked. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Also, totally let me know if the music is too quiet or too loud. Sparky! Congratulations! Amazing! You won stuff. Good job. Welcome to the Winners Club. Or I can't say welcome because I'm not, but you're a winner now. We should get a raffle one day where it's just a picture of Steve eating a hamburger. Can we it's like a framed like picture and like all like good quality and stuff. Love the art on your wall, OMG. Thank you so much. It's got a deer in it. It's very fitting for our ranger here pictured. All right, so we got our winner for the raffle. What do you say? We dive into the second story here. This is the first story in A Houseless God in their fiction collection here, and signed with the spot of mustard and ketchup. Perfect, beautiful. Let's go. Deer is fitting for parts of the state. Oh, absolutely. Okay. Story number 2 of the evening, or rather, our first, story from A Houseless God. Dead Man's Bath. So, if you're new here, grab your drink and enjoy some time with us. The surging waters pushed up against the stone feet of the old bridge, carrying debris from up the river that gathered in eddies at the bridge's feet, but for a moment, before twisting free and pushing off down the turbulent stream. The bridge seemed greater than the road that lay before and after it, a huge edifice in the dark wood. It was not known what hands set the stone to cross the river, but whoever did so with skill and a keen knowledge of the river and the land about. It stood the test of time, resisting raging waters and chewing roots. What few men dared the dark enfold called it the Damonheit Bridge. Why? No one now recalled. Late of the Perth timberland, Ulrich Gunshoff sat astride his heavy destrier in the shadow of an old gnarled tree. He sat straight in the saddle, the chain links of his mail and the iron of his plate heavy in the stifling air. His coif lay jumbled upon his shoulders, and his helm hung off the saddle amidst the packs and jumbled gear. Next to the helm hung a long-hafted battle axe, designed for use while mounted. Gunshoff looked upon the bridge through pale blue eyes. His steed did as well. Ears perked and forward, the horse smelled the blood in the air and heard the familiar sound of iron as it ground into flesh. Before them, upon the bridge's high span, stood a man with some type of cleaver in hand. He was busily chopping at the lifeless body of a comrade or stranger, whoever it was that had crossed his path. The forest drove many mad, for it was a dark place, and home to a variety of spirits, some fair, some foul, but more, the forest itself was alive. If you listened carefully, you could hear it breathe, hear the murmurings of old trees with dark roots. It was dark, too, for the bark drank the light of the camp's fire as surely as a thirsty man drinks water. The air was heavy, thick with malice, and it preyed upon the minds of lesser men. These wandered the wastes, lost in the dark wood until they died upon the blade of some foul creature or the tusks of some beast. But on the bridge, the man wailed away, hacking at the body until exhaustion finally overcame him, and he collapsed onto the bridge parapet, cleaver in hand, his blood-splattered face set upon weary arms. Gunshoff watched until the body was little more than a ruin of gore, eking its way down to the river below, before he began to move forward. When he got to the bridge, he dismounted and told the steed to stay. It nuzzled him as he pulled his sword from its scabbard. "Not today, Blue. I need no cleaver marks in your fair hide. We've to make ends meet before the week is up, and I'm not inclined to walk." Turning to the man on the bridge, he began to walk toward him with purpose. "Hail, dog! I've need of this bridge, and you've need of rest, so come, let's resolve this." Lifting his head, the man looked up at Gunshoff. It took time for reason to enter his eyes, or the facsimile thereof. When it did, a certain glee overtook him. His eyes shone and his hands quivered. Taking up his cleaver, he began walking toward Gunshoff. The man was wild, his clothes ragged and soaked through as if he had just climbed from the river below. His pale skin shone almost yellow, his face bloated but etched with the twisted pain of a madman. He muttered some gibberish, lust-filled madness. As he did so, water bubbled up from the madman's lips, as if he had drunk deep but failed to swallow. Yurik cast a quick glance back towards his steed, at the shield hanging amidst the packs. Damn the iron. The wild man fell upon him in a rush that allowed him to cross the bridge far faster than any could or should. Yurik sidestepped, rolled his shoulder off the man's wild, erratic swinging, sent him bounding down the bridge. As quick as he missed, he rebounded, leaping back up in a fury of incoherent, water-filled babbles to drive the cleaver down upon Yurik. The blades clashed and Yurik twisted the sword, turning the cleaver and opening the man's face to the bone. Blood splattered across the stone as Yurik leapt back, but the wild man, unconcerned at the wound which left part of his face hanging upon his chest, pressed home the attack. Beyond the madness, Yurik could sense an undercurrent of evil, the foul breath of one driven by the endless pools, or forbidden entry for what crime only this wretched creature and the gods could discern. With blood-curdling, spit-filled screams, the man rained blows upon the knight. Most were easily turned, but a few found their mark, rending mail and bruising flesh. After a third such blow opened a wound in his hand, Yurik's whole demeanor changed. Gone in an instant was the self-assured confidence of one dispatching a roadside ruffian, replaced now by an animal battling on instinct. With a speed that belied belief, he turned the battle, shedding the vestige of the civilized world. He fell upon the lunatic with a web of steel. His body moved before his mind registered. His blade opened half a dozen wounds in the man's rotting flesh even before he lopped off the cleaver-borne arm, sending it and a trail of blood splattering across the bridge. No moment was spared in the madman's attack. Ignoring the bloody stump, he rushed Yurik, only to feel the cold iron of the longsword open his skull from top to jaw. The gray-brown matter of the man's brains, washed in the gore of his own blood, tumbled from the wound as he fell forward with a thud. Gods and bones. Yurik stepped back from the wreckage and leaned on the parapet, looking at the body before him. A peculiar stream cut through the blood and brain. Yurik traced it back to the mouth, where water seemed to be trickling out. As he looked closer, he could see a growing pool of water around the man, diluting the blood and soaking the ragged clothing. In a moment, the body sagged, crumbling into itself as the water spread. A foul odor drove Yurik back, and the water turned brackish as it filled with putrid flesh. But a wind picked up the stink and carried it far away, by which time the body, clothing and all, was little more than a pool of foul water mixed with blood and ichor. Calling his steed to him, Yurik fetched his shield, and as he did so, a cackling glee caught his attention. The horse reared and neighed a half-hearted challenge as Yurik spun to face the man again, climbing over the bridge's rail covered in river rot and water. Springing upon the bridge span, he rushed Yurik with a mad yell. The attack was even more ferocious, but the cleaver was gone, replaced now with a long dagger. The creature fell upon Yurik with unrestrained power, battering the shield, swinging or stabbing with the dagger. The knight deftly shifted the attack, first breaking the force of the charge and then turning the creature about and opening his flank to the thigh. At that, the beastly man leapt back. Crouching, he unleashed a blood-curdling scream at the knight that sent Yurik's steed clattering back down the bridge, birds flying from the trees, and Yurik's mind reeling. Staggering from the blow, his mind went blank, and he could see nothing but a burning white light. He felt the creature's attack more than he saw it. Its rancid, watery breath, flapping feet, the cold heat of its flesh as it pulled upon the shield and slashed with the dagger. The ripping pain across his midriff brought Yurik back to the battle, and with a skill born of countless contests, he drove the shield forward and up, forcing the creature off balance. With a further push and a thrust of his sword, the creature tumbled backward, landing hard on the stone bridge. He towered over the bestial man. Blade in hand, his fierce visage shook with a power beyond him. Begone, wretch. Justice, all things come to one. The beast screamed and cowed, and curling up upon itself, it crawled away. Whimpering, he climbed the bridge rail and vanished. Now, what in the name of the first wind is going on? Crossing the bridge, Yurik looked down into the water below. The river churned about the pylons, striking against them in great waves that tumbled back down to be drawn under and into the torrid stream. Debris, carried from up the river, followed the water, striking the pylon, flipping and vanishing into the flow. But a moment's observation revealed a hand, an arm pulled up, and then as quickly drug under. After a moment, a face broke the water's surface. It too vanished as quickly as it rose. But it was enough for Yurik to see it was the face of a man, young it seemed, but dead now, drowned in the river and caught in the flow around the bridge. He knew then what ailed the bridge. An Alep, a murdered spirit, trapped in limbo, driven mad by a world beyond its understanding. It would haunt this bridge until given some direction. Though it fled from him before, the fear would fade. It would return. He called Blue to him. Taking rope from his pack, he tied it off to the saddle. Quickly stripping to his breeches with only a dagger in his belt, he dove over the side of the bridge, rope in hand. Though the current was fierce, he used the rope to pull himself forward and get a footing on the pylon. There, he looped the rope around the body and tied it off. Diving, he found what tangled mess held the young man to the bridge. The man's backpack held him. An errant strap had caught on the boat hook on the bridge. Cutting it loose, he took the backpack and struck out for the shore. In only a few moments, he was guiding Blue to pull the body free of the river and up and onto the bridge. It was bloated and battered, but little eaten by the fish. No doubt the current saved the man from being devoured and his bones sinking to the bottom of the river. The man seemed young, though it was hard to be sure, but his end was horrid. He had had his throat cut. The cut was deep and went from ear to ear, which suggested he had been attacked from behind, probably by someone he knew. Searching the pack, he found spoiled food, a flask, flint and steel. A small box, now filled with water, seemed to contain some powders in it. But at the bottom, tightly wrapped in leather binding, was a book. Inside was a note. Wendell, may this book serve you well. Do not forget us at home. Safe journey, Andus. Well, Andus, his journey was not safe, nor did the book serve him well. Yurik pocketed the book. Gathering up the remains of young Wendell, he bore him off the bridge. The horse followed him. Pulling an old shovel from the packs, he set about digging a grave. He chose a spot away from the river, on a small mound just north of the road beneath a tree. Here he dug deep into the soft earth, and wrapping the body in his blanket, he lowered it into the ground. Within a few moments, he was standing over the mound. Know peace, young Wendell. May your journey begin and continue uninterrupted. Justice to you and yours. All things come to one. Mounting blue, Uric turned back to the road. A sign not far off the road with the word Willowbrake etched into its rough surface led to a trail that meandered south into the wood. He mused for a moment, wondering if he wanted a warm bed and cool drink. But the thought of company was too much for him, and he turned his horse west and continued down the road. So that is Dead Man's Bath. That's our second story, and that's our last story of the night. I hope you guys liked it. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. Chris, when did you get here? Hello, so good to see you. Hello, hello. Late night wishes back to you, my friend. I wish you all the late nights. Excellent reading, not excellent last story. It had a happy ending, sort of. He set the Alep to peace and cured the bridge of having a demon on it. You know what I mean? Hey, Spicy, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Scarlet Squirrel, thank you. And Phantom NJ, thank you so much. I think I saw someone come in and subscribe. Phantom MJ, welcome back for 9 months. That is a whole infant. Thank you so much for being here. One more story. Well, wouldn't you know it? If you liked this, we're going to be back here next month, same time and place. Different story, though. And it'll be a really nice time. So, if you guys liked it, maybe the Troll Lords will let me stay, and they won't kick me out into the elements. I was there for the end, but I like the calming voice. Well, thank you so much. Anyone who came in, after I introduced myself, my name is Crane Writes. I stream on Twitch under just the username Crane Writes, and I'm a poet, and I have a book out, which is a total surprise to myself. And we have a good time over on my channel too, but a really, really nice time over here. Y'all are so sweet. Thank you. This has been so much fun. I met the amazing people with Troll Lord Games at GaryCon. It was my very first con experience, and meeting Steve and Tim and Rich and everyone just made that experience wonderful. And I have so much just respect and love for these wonderful, wonderful people. So check out their books, check out their games. They produce Castles and Crusades and Dungeons and Dragons content. And Grendel, thank you so much for gifting that sub to Squirrel. I really appreciate you doing that. That's very, very sweet of you. Another GaryCon attendee. Exactly, yeah, it was my first time ever at a con. I learned about it like a day and a half before I decided to go. It was a good time. But not Chuck. Chuck is bad. Yeah. And especially Chuck. And thank you so much, Tim, for the shout out. I really appreciate that. We have a raid. Let me start it here. But we're gonna raid a friend of the channel. It's gonna be a lovely time. Let's do it here really quick. We'll just get that started. See if it worked or not. I don't see the raid starting. Tim, if you want to do it, this is going to be the channel that we're going to be raiding, or I was asked by Chuck to raid this channel after this stream. But I would love to do a poetry night here if you guys are, if y'all are interested in that. I would love to bring some of my work here and see what you guys think. But I have loved getting to hang with you all, and I can't wait for next week. We're gonna be doing this again. Second verse, same as the first, but a little different and maybe a little better. We'll see. This is delicious, thank you. Succulent fiction. But if you want, hang out for the raid. We're gonna raid into a friend of the channel and just like drop some nice stuff, some sweetness. Oh, and Tim, I believe it is /raid to make the thing happen instead of exclamation point. So I tried to type an example, but it didn't let me. Love storytelling. It's the best. Storytelling is just the best thing ever. It's so much fun. There we go. We're gonna go do so much love. So much love for our good buddies and good pals. Thank you, Isaac. No, blasphemy. Absolutely not. I think this stuff is confusing on purpose. And I believe, Tim, that you will be able to control when we raid here. So the last thing that I have to say to you all is go in peace, make the words, do good, and I will see you again in a week or before on my channel. If we're ready to go, let's go, Tim. Send us away. Bye, friends. And thank you all for being here. I appreciate you guys hanging out on the TikTok. I'm gonna participate in this raid here for a little bit. Oh, I should probably stop streaming, huh?